I tell them all the time, I still ain't figured this out. I'm in it for the long run, I still ain't figured this out, man. She say she got the answers, I still ain't figured this out. He say he got the cues, I still ain't figured this out, man. I'm in it for the long haul. I ain't worried about you.
And welcome to another episode of the Crappy Awesome Podcast. It's your host, Kill C. Ray. Man, we got a dope show today. Guys, thank you once again for tuning in, for sharing the show, showing us love. We can't thank you guys enough. As usual, if you want to support us, go support the artists that we support over at platformcollection.com. That is, we see that as a personal thing, man. So please go do that. That's, like I said, that's like handing $20 to us. If you click a share or a like, it's all to the good. I think I met the gentleman that's on the show today. I met him briefly at, I believe it was a Thop Fest. It was one of the original ones. I believe it might have been the second one or the third one. But I've been following this dude's career for a minute. I love the things he does. I'm a fan. And I think the homie J.Lately is one of those artists that I don't know, man. I just feel like he's a worker, bro. You are a worker, dude. There is no doubt about that. I remember prior to this, and we're gonna get into like where you were at and all that stuff before the world changed. But you were and have been like a steady touring artist for the last few years now, right?
Yeah, I'd say for maybe like the last 5 or so years, I've
Yeah.
been doing my best to stay on the road as much as possible.
Was that a and we're gonna be jumping around a lot, man, because there's a lot of different questions I want to get in with you. There's also I want to dive into your creative process, but was that initially when you set out on this road of hip hop and you're like, yo, this is a career. I want to follow this as a career, which we all know in this industry, it's a huge step, right? There's one thing to make music, maybe part-time or whatever, but kind of diving into something like a tour that can take you away from home, take you away from a support system, all that. It's a big,
Right.
big choice. Did you plan on being a touring artist from the jump?
No, I mean, honestly, I just wanted to be an artist. Like I just wanted to be able to make music and do what I want with my day and with my time.
Yeah.
And I got the opportunity to go on tour fairly early on. And I just thought it was sick. Like I thought it was the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? Like it was so much fun to just be able to like travel around different places each day, meet new people, get to perform in new places. I'm someone who doesn't really like sitting still too much, so
Yeah.
it just was like perfect for me. You know what I mean? And I got to focus on my music every day, and I got to make some money off of it too. And it just became something that was kind of like addictive for me. Like it was like it's one of my favorite parts of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seemed like it for watching you over the last couple of years for sure a lot. I got turned on to you by 60 East initially.
Word. Shout out 60 East, man.
Yeah, shout out to 60. He was just talking, he's like, yo, this dude is out there doing it. He's like, because it's having done through almost 400 of these episodes now, right? Talking to a bunch of different artists. It's a rare breed that one can survive on the road, but also thrive on the road and flip that into like continuous tours. And because you know how it works, a lot of the touring artists look for people who can, I mean, for lack of better description, take it on the road. Like they can, like they're not going to crack out there on the road. They're going to be professional. Yeah. They're going to show up on time. All these things are things that a lot of people maybe coming up in the industry might not know, that we all watch those things, right? Like if we're booking shows, we want people that are going to be dependable and consistent, right? And you are one of those guys for sure, dude. I want this being your first time on Crappy Awesome, hopefully not your last. Let's kind of start at the beginning a little bit.
For sure.
Just for the people who might not know everything about you, where are you from initially, and where are you at now?
So I was born in Oakland,
Okay.
California, but I then when I was like 5 years old, my family moved to Sebastopol, which is like a small town about an hour north of Oakland,
Okay.
just like up on the coast of Northern California. So I grew up there from like 5 to 18, and then moved to Southern California to go to school. My bad, my light's tripping. Moved to Southern California to go to school, and then moved back to Oakland, and I've been living in Oakland since then. So that's where I'm at now.
Okay. And so, brothers and sisters?
I got one older brother.
Okay, one older brother.
Yeah,
Both parents around, or both parents together?
yeah, still together. Yeah.
Okay, so where was the if you had to put your finger on it growing up, where do you feel like you kind of got the creative part, the artistic side? Was that in the house already?
Yeah, definitely. I think it came from both of my parents, and my brother had it too. My brother was older brother. He's like the one that passed down hip hop to me, kind of like he was the one that was listening to it first. Like I used to go steal all his CDs and tapes and shit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so
But my parents too, for sure. My parents too.
were they listening to music and stuff in the house and
Yeah,
kind of
listening to
exposing?
music. My mom liked to dance a lot. My dad would like play music. He never like took it too serious. He actually plays the bass kind of more seriously now. Now
Oh,
that he's
okay.
older, but when he was younger, he used to just kind of mess around and play music in the house a lot and stuff like that.
Okay, so how what kind of kid would you describe yourself as? Say like your early years before high school. What kind of kid were you?
um, Shit, I think just like a happy kid. You know what I mean? For the most part, like I've always been just pretty fun-loving, adventurous kid
Yeah,
person. But I'm not like the loudest person in the room ever. I'm not the, you know what I mean? Like I've
yeah.
never been the wildest one or anything like that. I'm just, I think I've just been, yeah, I don't know, man.
I
It's
mean,
hard.
do you think
It's
you
hard.
think if what did you get in trouble? Did you get in trouble a lot? Did you
No, I
you
mean,
feel like you kind of followed the rules as needed?
I followed. I broke the rules very responsibly and respectfully. I would
Gotcha,
say, like,
gotcha.
you know what I mean. Like, I wasn't rubbing my rule breaking in anyone's face, and I like I the thing is, like, I got good grades, and I just did it. I was nice to people, and I got good grades. So, and
Yeah,
my parents always kind of gave me the benefit of the doubt, like, if you're getting good grades and no one's complaining about you, like, if you come
right.
home, yeah, you know what I mean? They just gave me
Yeah,
kind of more wiggle room, which I appreciated. So then it was like, I wasn't doing crazy shit, but I was smoking weed and drinking and,
yeah.
staying out late and etc. But it like, yeah, it allowed me, it made me kind of feel like I could dabble in these things without having to like rebel against them. You know what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
important, man. It's weird. I have a like my best friend just had his second kid, and they're both pretty young still. And we were talking about that the other day. Like, it's such a tricky thing when you're raising because his kids are definitely like gonna be creatives. They're already kind of dabbling and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But like encouraging it because as artists, like I mean, all you're really doing is searching for some sort of freedom, right? Like that's all you're trying to find your way to your most freest point, and it's kind of hard to like judge that early on because you don't want to stifle it. Like we
Right.
talk about, like, yeah, man, if our parents had just done A, B, or C, right? Um,
Right.
and you look at the kids now, and you're like, man, I wonder because I mean, dude, the amount of stuff that these kids are getting exposed to at like right now is I I
Yeah.
I can't relate. I can't even relate.
Yeah. It's
It's just a
crazy.
ton. Do you think that growing up out like when you moved to Oakland, what age when did you move back out of that? What was the name of the town?
Sebastopol.
Sebastopol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was this like I mean, what's the population there? I literally have never heard of it.
Shit. Yeah, it's like I don't know if you're familiar with like Santa Rosa, Petaluma.
Santa Rosa a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
So it's out
right
there.
next to there. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But shit, I don't even. I'm gonna sound like an idiot if I try to tell you the population right now. I'm
Small
terrible with.
though. Pretty
It's
small.
small,
Okay.
small. Yeah,
So was
yeah.
did that you feel like that like assisted in your upbringing or your like outlook on life at all?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it was just definitely a comfortable place to grow up. I mean, like, honestly, I didn't really even get heavy into like rapping or doing artistic. I mean, like really get into my craft
Mhm.
of rapping until after I left there. Or a lot of it was just kind of in my bedroom while I was there. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Like,
right, right.
there was definitely not like a rap scene of any sort or like,
Right.
anything to get on board with out there really. So,
What was there
um,
anybody? Was there anybody out there that you kind of like, like hung out and maybe talked about hip hop, or like what were you listening to at that time? Like what was a
man,
young Jay lately bumping in his headphones?
when I was in like 8th grade through 12th grade was
Uh
like
huh.
the heyday of Aftermath. So
Got you. Oh,
it
that's a
was
good
like
time.
or even before 8th grade, like right before 8th grade was when like Eminem was starting to drop like his shit that we all heard about. So it was
Yeah.
like Eminem, 50, uh, Dre put out Chronic 2000. Then there was fucking G Unit, The Game. It was like all that
Oh
type of
wow.
shit.
Wow.
And so like back when I was in high school, like I had nobody putting me on, and there wasn't even really like there was the internet, but there wasn't the internet like there is today.
Right.
Like that just started when I was in high school, where we were really discovering shit.
Yeah.
And so for a while there, like I was just listening to what was on the radio. You know what I mean? And then
Got you.
also a good deal of shit that I had taken from my brother, which was all like this Northern California shit, like Andre Nicotina, Mac Dre, Brother
Wow.
Lynn Chung,
Yeah.
fucking Selsky, like just
Well,
all that shit. My
well, you
brother
were
was
in good
super heavy
hands.
into
It seems like. It seems like you were in.
that.
I mean, it wasn't like you didn't. You weren't naming anybody that people wouldn't go like, God damn, that's pretty good music.
Right,
Um,
right. It's
but
just funny because it's not really the music that I make. Is like a lot of the
no,
shit
no,
that I
no.
was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to get into that. Like, I definitely want to get into that. But okay, wait. But let's move forward. So you go
For sure.
to high school. What are your high school years like? Are you like what are you doing? Like, who you
I
hanging out
always
with?
I always played sports. That was kind
Okay.
of like I always played basketball from high school on, and that was just kind of my thing. Like I was just I was a pretty quiet kid, but I was just like trying. I would just kind of get to be popular through playing sports, and
Right,
then I
right,
just
right.
kind of
I feel you.
get to go about my day. You know what I mean? And like,
Hmm.
but I was a good student. I was always trying to be on my grades and shit, and like really go hard at that. And like just be good at school and be good at basketball. And like for a minute there, that was kind of my goals in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you were you good? Were you good in sports?
Yeah, yeah, I was good. I mean, relatively.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
always like one of the captains on the team and shit. But
Dope.
I even played in college, but I played like D3. So you know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like
Still though, like
I
yeah,
could get
like
down, but I had no chance of going to the league
got
ever.
you. Got you. How tall are you, by the way?
Like 6'1"
Oh,
on a
okay.
good day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Um so yeah, yeah, that's always interesting, man. I like to hear about these things, specifically like how you socialize and stuff, because I feel like it's I've been able to see like I don't want to call them trends because they are individuals, but there are paths that people take when they have the opportunity to like kind of harness their leadership skills early on, and
Mhm.
then they go into like music and hip hop. They seem to have like a easier, not necessarily like this is an easy game, but an easier time at it, maneuvering the mechanism. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like there's a lot of moving pieces to this. From the outside looking in, a lot of times people don't see the various connections and networking that you have to do constantly,
Right.
right? To keep the engine running. And I feel like it's interesting. Like a lot of the artists that I've had on that have played sports seem to do really well at that. You know what I
You
mean?
know, I think part of what it is like no matter how good you are at sports, you've learned at least somewhat the process of getting better at
Mm.
something.
Hmm.
Like you've had to work day in and day out, either solo if it's like an individual sport or as a team if it's a team sport, but you've had to work and see the process of getting better and see that it doesn't happen overnight. It's
Yeah.
something that does take consistent work day in and day out. And when you also think about playing sports, you're like, if you're playing like serious, high school level or up, you're practicing 5 days a week at least, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, it is a thing that kind of gets into your head of like, this is something I practice, this is something I do, and or at least for me, it's like that's where I've made the transition. It's kind of seeing like this isn't like this doesn't happen overnight. You know,
Yeah.
it is a thing of like constantly getting better. And like maybe you don't like maybe you make the team this year, and then maybe your team doesn't win the league, or maybe you don't start, but then next year you get on the starting squad, and like like that's what I
Yeah.
had to do all through college. Like I rode the bench all freshman year, but then I
Yeah.
started sophomore year, worked my way. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just something that's like kind of not new to me. The just like it's kind I kind of like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like kind of gives me comfort to like have this thing that I'm working on
Yeah.
constantly. And I see where I'm trying to go, but also see where I need to be tomorrow, and kind of like it just
Yeah.
grounds me a little bit. I
I
think.
think it's yeah, to add to that, I think it's like another thing that it was just dawning on me as you were saying it, like I think another thing that gets tested and sharpened is the ability to grow and get better at things in front of people. You know what I mean? Because
Uh-huh.
so many people like it's such a big hump to get over for people because they always want to show their best, and in sports
That's a
you lose games. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's a
mean? And
great point.
sometimes it's in front of people. And so what?
Always is.
Yeah, yeah,
Always in
it's
front of
always yeah.
you.
I'm almost getting used to how it is now. But yeah, and
Yeah.
then like you go and you take that to the stage. Obviously, there's always a there's a benefit to wanting the ball. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like there's a bet to have to harness that attitude of like I want this. I want something to prove my skill. And then I also think that in sports, a really cool thing, like in hip hop, right? When you do shows, you get to test what you've practiced
Right.
almost immediately, right? Like it's at least
Right.
that by the end of the week, you're playing and you're like, oh shit, did I get better? And you know right away. And people who don't have that opportunity, it's I mean it's such a sports. I see it like such an important. I'm not even like a big sports dude. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Mhm.
watch a whole lot of sports. I
I
watch.
actually I don't watch shit. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to tell you
yeah,
the truth.
yeah, yeah.
But
But
I
I
like think about it in the way I think about my life. It's definitely that like
yeah.
metaphorically there all the time kind of
Especially
thing.
if you get like good coaches, good good
Right.
mentors on there. It's cool. Okay, so
Right.
you're going through school, so you're kind of doing the sports thing. You get into college, right? When's the bug to start? Like, okay, I want to play with this music thing a little bit more. When did that start to get a little more serious?
Definitely more in college, but I mean,
Okay,
the thing is, like, I always enjoyed it. I started writing maybe in like ninth grade in
right.
high school, but
Okay,
like it was just literally in my room, and then I started like kind of messing around with the couple other kids at high school that messed around with it. But like the thing is, I never in my mind thought that like this is something that I'd get to pursue seriously.
mm,
So my whole time I'm thinking like I'm gonna play basketball as long as I can, and then I'm gonna go get a good job. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna
yeah,
get through
yeah,
college. So it was always just like a hobby. And then in college, I had a chance to like be exposed to way more music, a lot more like underground music, and just kind of seeing that there's like all these alternative lanes out there. There's all these different identities of people out there. Like there is this wide variety. So then that kind of like sparked my like, oh shit, there is people who sound a little bit more like me, who are talking about things that I relate to a little bit more.
yeah.
Because I'm like singing G Unit songs, but it's not who I am. But I fucking love it. But
Right, right,
like
right, right, right.
then I heard some other people saying some other things. I was like, whoa, this is sick. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so then I got more into it, and then even after like I graduated from college, the whole time I'm putting out music, but it's kind of a thing that's like, yo, this would be tight if it happened, but it's probably never gonna happen. So let me get all my other ducks in a row.
Yeah.
So I like graduated college. I became a teacher,
Uh
and
huh.
I was teaching for a while. And so like it's been a long process of it finally starting to be kind of like, I've always loved it and I've always pursued it actively, but never really believing in myself that this is something I'm gonna do. And
Mm.
then at some point something changed where it's kind of like it was really honestly just seeing other people believe in me, like enough other people where it was like, oh shit, like if they're all saying this and I'm like looking around and I'm seeing the reaction of everyone compared to how it looks for other people. And you know what I mean? It's just kind of
Yeah.
like looking at it like, holy shit, like this is actually catching on way more than I honestly ever thought would even be possible. And like there's so much more I could try, like so much more I could put into this. You
Mm.
know what I mean? It's not like I've
Yeah.
given all my effort or done my best job yet. Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I have a lot better I could do. There's a lot of things I'm not good at yet or, not as good as I could be at yet. And so it's like, if I've managed to do this already and I still think I'm so far from where I could be, like, damn, maybe I got a chance,
Right, 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 right.
And so that just kind of lit a fire under my ass.
So, how long into college was that? Like, just timeline wise?
That was after college, to tell you the
After
truth.
college. So,
Yeah, I
so
didn't.
you were already teaching. You were already technically
Yeah,
in what
yeah,
I assume you thought was going to be your career.
yeah. Or so I kind of figured I'd stay somewhat in the education realm
Yeah.
for the rest of my life. Um, and part of it too was just kind of realizing, like, I really liked. I thought I would love teaching. Teaching is a very, like, I wanted a job that's more than just a 9 to 5, like something that I love, a
Right.
career. Where, like, that I wanted to think about at night too when I
Yeah.
went home. Um, but then I got the chance to go on tour and do more music, and I just realized, like, yo, I love this music shit so much more
Of
than I
course.
still love going to
Yeah.
work and teaching these kids who, like, I love these kids, but I don't love them as much as I get to be on the road and sharing my art and meeting
Yeah.
fans and getting new stories and experiences and all that shit. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I just couldn't help the denial that, like, yo, this makes me happy. Like, this
Yeah.
makes me really genuinely happy.
How were like your peers around you, and like even your parents and brother, like were they all like, did they see it? Did they get it from the beginning?
No, I think they're kind of similar to me. Like, it's all of us are kind of like, oh, this was fun, this is cool. Jeremy's pretty good at
Right.
that. You know what I mean? And then,
Uh-huh.
like, oh wow, like, it's kind of doing something. Oh wow, is it really? Like, it is kind of doing something. And then, like, it was kind of the same thing as with my grades. Like, I had put in enough. Like, I had graduated college.
Mhm.
I had shown that I can keep a steady job. I can pay my
Right,
rent.
right,
I can
right.
do all my shit. And my parents are kind of like, look, you're good. Like, if you want to go fuck it up, like, go
Yeah.
ahead, or you know what I mean, like, if it's on you, like, if you
Yeah.
we know you have the skills to go work you got a college degree, you have the skills to go work a 9 to 5, like,
Yeah.
if this is what you really want to do and you're, like, serious about it and you think it's a good, there's opportunity, then fucking go for it, like.
Yeah.
So I've always really appreciated that about them. You know
That's
what I mean?
super
Just kind
dope.
of like, it's kind of like, if you handle your business, then, or, like, treat me like an adult and
It's
act
very
like an
dope.
adult, get treated like an adult, kind of.
Very
You know what
shout out to your mom and
I mean?
pops for real.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
I mean that's super dope. Like I wish more parents would take that approach because it is, man, it's such a, I've met like young kids throughout the years where I'm just like, man, this kid has it, but they're lacking that one, like you could just tell nobody ever told them they were dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like literally nobody, like the closest people to them probably discouraged them from following whatever they thought the crazy passion was.
yeah.
So okay,
See, I think
so
I think I personally just needed a lot of practice. Like, I'm not mad at
yeah,
anybody. Like, I was a slow enterer into the, you know what I mean? I
yeah,
wasn't thrown into the hip hop game. Like, I was had a slow entrance, and really, like, over time have developed who I am, artistically and stuff. And so I don't really, like, it's hard for me to blame anyone, like, oh, they didn't see it in me. I'm like, I didn't really see it in myself till
yeah.
recently.
So okay, so what was the first tour, by the way, that took you
It
away
was
where when you started to think like, okay, this might
it
cut
was
into my other career?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was I don't know if you're familiar, a group, they haven't been, like, really active for a minute now, but they're called ILAM, Independent Like a
Yeah,
Motherfucker,
yeah, I know who you're talking
and
about.
Play
Uh-huh.
Ray and Tracy. So
Yeah.
actually, the project that I'm currently releasing is with Tracy. He's producing now,
Oh,
but he
dope.
used to rap in this group, and me and
Uh-huh.
him went to high school together. So
Oh, okay.
they were touring, then they took me with them on, like, a little, maybe, like, 6 to 8 stop California,
Yep.
Oregon type thing.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just like, yo, like, we got room for you to come open up. We got room in like, they had an SUV. They're like, you can ride, you can sleep on the floor in the hotel, and you can rock a 15-minute set every night. And I was like, fuck yeah. And
Wow.
so we
No
just
second
mob
thought.
around.
No second thought.
No.
You were
Well,
like, I'm with it.
the great thing too was, like, I've always just been lucky with, like, my flexibility. Somehow it's just worked out. Like, I was a teacher, and so, like, they were doing it basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, and then we'd come home Sunday.
Right, right,
And
right, right.
then I would go to work Monday through Friday. I had enough like, sick days saved up that I'd take Friday off with a sick day.
Yeah.
Hop in the car Thursday morning, we'd be off, and, like, and that's kind of when I realized, like, I'm going right back from, like, 4 days to 4 days, back and forth. of like early mornings and late nights. And like
Yeah.
the tour is even like less sleep, is even like less, you know what I mean? Like
Right, right,
when I'm
right.
at home, I'm working and stuff, but I'm at least getting good nights of sleep and all that. On the tour, I'm like tired all the time, but I'm waking up like happy as fuck every single day,
Right,
even if
right.
it's at 5 in the morning to hop in the car for 10 hours. Whereas like I'd be waking up at like 8:30 to go, you know, sit in a nice warm shower and then go to work and blah blah blah, and I'd be like unhappy, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it just was kind of easy for me to see that like if I can do this, I should. You know what I mean?
What'd you learn on that first tour? Was there anything that you like maybe you even saw and you're like, okay, when I go out on tour, I'll change this or I want to do this or like what because I'm sure it was early for them too, right? Like it wasn't like it was a funded sponsored tour, with all the amenities, right? You guys were on the
Right.
indie hustle. What did you
Right.
learn?
Honestly, I learned a lot of like what I felt was I picked up I focused on I picked up a lot of positive things. Like they
Hmm.
were really good. The thing is that none of us were really even big enough to be out on the road like we were.
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
they were doing a really good job of lining up a tour, of connecting the dots, of having some artists in the town who were actually people who were aligned with them musically, who were aligned with them hustle wise. They were sending out flyers ahead of time. They were really had things organized and like and I just learned a lot of kind of like the I learned how to like make it before you've made it kind of. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like I learned the tricks of the trade that are like kind of the penny pinching or like the skills of like how to make more out of less.
Right, right.
And I felt like that's always been really important for me because I've always felt kind of confident then that like if I do catch the buzz, holding on to it is not going to be a hard thing.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like
Yep.
I've managed to do a lot more than maybe I should have been able to do given like how much people talk about my name.
Fair.
Like I, you know, I mean, it's up for
Yeah.
debate, but
Yeah.
in my mind, I kind of feel like, you know, I've managed to pull off some pretty amazing things with my career, like
Absolutely.
given maybe my popularity compared to other artists. And I think it's because of just because of like strategizing and also being aware of who you are. It's like no, like I know that I don't just put up an Instagram post, hey, I'm coming to Arizona, and it's like packed.
Mhm.
Like, and if you think that the fans are wrong for that, then you're a fucking idiot. If you show up to Arizona and you're like, yo, these bitch ass motherfuckers in Arizona
Right.
don't, you know what I mean?
It's
Like
their fault.
that's your fault. Like you
Yeah.
didn't give them a reason to care about you. They don't care about you, and that's not their fault. Like you
Yeah.
need to make them, you know what I mean? So that like that's a lot of the other shit I learned out on the road too. Is kind of like, yo, you know what I mean? You get comfy at home. You get comfy at home with 30 people that think you're tight, that show up
Yeah.
at your shows
Facts.
and sing your lyrics over and over, but like you go out on the road and two show up who know your lyrics and there's 10 who think you're a goofball, like
Yeah.
then when the minute you walk on stage. And that was like funny, like those guys had a little bit different of a vibe than me. They were a lot more hardcore, and so people kind of looked at me as this little fucking like conscious pansy or whatever, but I had to go out there each night and kind of like rap my ass off, and by the end of the set they'd be like, damn, that motherfucker can spit though, like, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Dude,
just
that
learning how to
spot,
do those things.
yeah, that opening spot of like in front of artists that like they don't have the biggest following either, but they have people who know them, and most likely the people at the show are there for them. Having
Right,
that opening spot, I've told artists time and time again, if you can get that spot, it's rough, but you will never learn more. You will
right,
never learn more than having that spot, because I think the audience reaction you get is a very, very honest one. Like it's a
right,
very honest one. They're like, okay, we're open because obviously this guy knows the people we like, so we're open to hear it.
right.
And then it's really up to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And there's going to be great nights. There's going to be bad nights. There's going to be nights where you get to perform to everybody coming in and
yeah.
getting drinks. Like, but you don't. There's literally nowhere else you can learn that.
No, and I've learned so much about like which of my songs resonate with who.
Ooh, uh huh.
And what of the things I do resonate with who. And like it's so important it's something I've always kind of like struggled with is, you know, kind of understanding how people see you
Yeah,
and understanding who these people are that are listening to you, that you're speaking to, you know. And and it just gives you, it makes that so clear. Like there's songs that I know, like this crowd, this is going to be the one they respond to. Like, all right, you know, the way I set up my set, like on certain shows where it's more of a party vibe, like I know my first song is not going to be the one that they like start to like me on.
Yeah.
It's just going to be the one that makes them go, okay, this guy could be all right. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And then my second song is the one that I make them go, oh shit, this guy's tight, you know? But I do it different, like,
Yep.
and I've just learned those things because I've had the chance to do it, and like, and had those failures, you know what I mean? Like you're talking about, or you know, they're not complete failures, but they're definitely like,
Yeah. They're
you know,
punches in the gut.
it didn't go the
Yeah.
way it was planned to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just get like on it, like that's a lot of the place I've grown as an artist, at least for a lot of my career, was really on the road. And
Yep.
even been trying to take more time recently to focus on giving myself more time to grow, like in the studio a
That's
little bit,
dope.
because I did so much, I feel like early, just like growing on the road, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's cool too because I think you've left a trail along the internet of like being able to see like the development, and I feel like, dude, at least for me, I've always tended to like lean towards artists who do have fans that grow with them. I think there's something
Hmm.
super dope about that because, like, especially with you, you're not talking a lot of fantasy in what you talk about. You know what I mean? Like a
Uh-huh.
lot of it is really it's real life shit.
Right.
And in order to believe that, sometimes you have to see the person saying those things not be in such a like perfected manner, you know, like you need to
Right.
see the flaws. You need to see like, oh, he was this and now look at him and now look at him, like he keeps getting better. Like I think that to me that's super dope, and I try to encourage artists all the time to not, I think we have a tendency, especially in hip hop, being, you know, having that macho side of hip hop of trying to hide that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because they see it as weaknesses. Like, oh, I don't want people to see me exposed in
Right.
a light that I don't see. You know, but you seem to have always been really open with what you've been going through.
I'm glad you see it that way, because I feel like it's something I struggle with. So
Yeah, I mean, it
I'm
definitely
glad,
comes
you know,
across.
for sure. I mean, I
Yeah,
like you know, it's something that I go back and forth on, is kind of the whole thing of like, you know, especially now with like how big social media is. It's like,
yeah,
how much of my struggles am I supposed to be showing? You know what I
mm,
mean? Like, and how much, you know, I don't know. It's just like, how much do you open up to people? But it is definitely something. It's like, I know that people like me not because I'm like way cooler than them. They like me because I like am like them. You know what
right,
I mean? They like me
absolutely.
just because I am who I am. So like, if I don't give them that, like, then what is there to, you know what I mean? That's what they
Yeah,
came for, is for me to give them me, like Jeremy, you know what I mean?
yep,
Myself, like that's the
yep,
same person as J.Lately, really. So
yep,
like, they didn't come to get clips of me doing like voices and shit. Like they want to hear what I'm talking about, which is like real life shit. And
absolutely.
it gets a little hard sometimes to like, you know what I mean? It's much easier to put it into songs than it is to always show those same things in just like such natural ways with strangers, you know?
Yeah. So how is that? How has maneuvering like social media and the internet like affected your career? Like obviously you have a presence. I checked out your Instagram. I want to get into your Instagram because I want to know what your, like when you're looking at your Instagram and your strategy for putting things out. A lot of
Mhm.
in fact, yeah, I didn't see many pictures where you were not in it,
Right.
right? Why talk about that a little bit.
Honestly, it's like, it's kind of like everything that I'm talking about, is just
Mhm.
doing things consistently gives you the chance to see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And if you're not picking up on those things, then why are you even doing the things in the first place?
Yeah.
Like if you're not thinking about, in my opinion, like I'm not, if I wasn't rapping, I probably wouldn't even be on Instagram other than when I was trying to get with girls.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I'm just not naturally someone that wants to talk about myself to like hella people at once. I like one-on-one conversations and shit
Yep.
like that. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
um, but so now it's like, so I think when I'm posting, like part of the reason I'm posting is to spread my music and shit. So like I'm thinking about what's working while I'm doing it. So I'm sitting there thinking like, seeing, okay, they respond this way to that, they respond this way to that, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then, you know, what it is after that is then figuring out with what I'm comfortable with. It's like I
Mm.
figured out more or less. I'm still, I'm always figuring out more, but I've started to figure out what people respond to well,
Yeah.
right? What they like about me, what they want to see from me, what they, etc. And then from there, I think about, okay, now what am I comfortable with giving them? Like, I'm not comfortable with like doing those 6 minute Instagram live videos where I'm really just like telling you about something difficult that I'm going through. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that just isn't me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like what I will tell you that through is a song. Like if I'm gonna speak like that to you, it's gonna be through a song. You know what I mean? But there's other things that I can let people in where I do feel comfortable. So then that's kind of the way I think about it. Is like, all right, how much do I feel comfortable giving them? And then like let's give them that much because they're fucking asking for everything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
just give as much as you feel comfortable with. It's kind of
how have you like when did you start to notice like social media wise, because I mean you're around 10K something like that, right? Like on Instagram,
yeah.
and I see you on Twitter. I see you know you're active. Do you When did you start to see like, oh, I'm starting to gain like a following here? There's people really checking for the things that I'm doing. When did that start to happen for you?
Honestly, it started like maybe a couple years ago when
Mm,
I really started touring heavy with bigger art, like getting the chance to open up with bigger artists on tour. Like I went on some tours with Zion I,
yeah.
Locksmith, Andre Nicotina, and that just gave me honestly what it did like online is it just gave me easy content to post where I looked cool as fuck. And it was just like
Gotcha.
big shots of me in front of big crowds with their hands up going crazy and us in a tour van and us stopping here, and so it just made posting online it's almost like I got lazy posting online almost
Hmm.
because it was so easy to just grab these pictures that were being taken of me by whoever was on tour with
Yep.
whatever. Like I just had this easy content where I didn't really have to talk about myself much other than just like telling the story that I'm on the road because I was staying
Yeah.
on the road so constantly. And so then, that worked for a while, but it wasn't really like on the social media tip, like it kind of just gets old a little bit.
Sure.
Um, and when the whole COVID thing started, I noticed like, okay, I really need to, I had so much more time than I usually have. Like I'm usually literally on the road, like at least 8 days out of a month or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least recently, and it just frees up hella time, because you're also when you get home, you're recovering for like a day or two, and it's just
Yeah.
like it frees up a lot. I've had a lot more time to work on music and work on just like my branding, to tell you the truth, and it's kind of the thing of like, all right, I got these same 24 hours in the day. Like now they're not being used trying to be a better touring artist. Like what else should they be being used for? Like I need
Yeah.
to improve. I'm not telling the story to I'm not giving my fans enough is what something that I've
Mm.
discovered. I've been hiding behind touring a little bit because it's easy, but I haven't been giving them enough music necessarily, and I haven't been giving them enough um, like and like exchange into my life or entrance into my life really for my for our relationship to continue to grow the way that it needs to grow. And so that's something that I've been like actively working on.
It seems like you knew. I mean, did you? How long have you known that? Like, how long have
I've
you known? Like, I'm
I've,
not
I
giving them enough.
hella long. Like I've
Yeah.
known all this. Like it's just what I'm uncomfortable with. Like I'm
Got
uncomfortable
you.
doing it. Like there's, you know what I mean? I'm so much more comfortable writing a song. And for some reason, the only time when I'm comfortable like sharing hella shit with a big group at once is on stage. There's something about like performing on stage where I feel like they're not even really looking at me or some shit like that. Like I feel like it's
Yeah.
not real life or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
for 15 to 30 minutes, it's not real life.
Yeah.
But like every other time, it's like it just feels way too real lifey to be like talking about this shit with strangers. You know what I mean? Like I'm the
Yeah.
type of person that grew up talking to like a close circle of people about my thoughts and feelings, and then going out there and just being kind to everyone else. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, so it has been something like to know, but then like it's like when I think about what I would tell other artists from a management perspective, like yo, they should be. Oh, I like see what they're. I'm like, why aren't they doing this? You know what I mean? And then I think
Yeah.
about myself, and I'm like, oh, I'm not really doing that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing that because it's uncomfortable or because it's hard or because I kind of suck at it. And it's like, well, that's not an excuse not to do it. That's like a reason I should go figure out how to do it better, you know?
I wonder if it's so weird, right? Like I think about that a lot. Like there's this such a fine line of having relationships with your supporters and followers, right? And it seems like at a certain point, if you just do it long enough, it hits a tipping point where those people become less um recognizable to you. You just know them as they're like they exist, right? Like you
Right.
know they exist. They're out there in the internet. They check in with you. Maybe even you just know their Twitter handler and their Twitter handle or Instagram handle, but they're such a
Right.
part of your life every day. They're checking in with you. You're seeing that name constantly, constantly, constantly. And then from the fan side, of course, you know, there's been countless stories about this, and I think you know it is. I think audiences are getting a little smarter on this, but you know, a lot of fans feel like they know every part of you by owning an album that sounds to them very personal, right? Oh,
Right.
he's told me everything.
Right.
And you know, as artists, we know like that's far from the truth, right? Like a lot of the stuff, you know, keep for yourself. Or like you said, you're just in a place where you don't feel that comfortable. It's not natural. Let's just be honest. It isn't natural. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like a natural human interaction for you to have these relationships that lie somewhere in between family, friends, and supporters. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's a weird
Right.
thing. And
You
you
know, it
know,
is for
yeah.
sure.
And so did you I want to talk a little bit about the COVID thing. Like where were you at when they basically started when you had to kind of deal with the idea that you weren't going to be able to be out on tour? Where were you at? What was happening during during that time?
I was actually like in the middle of a weekend tour with Andre Nicotina at the
Uh huh.
time. It was like a 18 show tour or whatever, and we had maybe done the first four or something like that, like or six or something like that. Like we had hella more coming.
Yeah.
And it was the type of thing where we were going like Thursday, Friday, Saturday type of thing, or
Oh
Friday,
wow.
Saturday. So it was like supposed to be for like the next, you know, a slow tour for the next few months, kind of
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so like this just completely put a hold on that. Um, and that's something that I with him for like the past year I've just kind of been consistently doing. He just kind of has stayed out on the road, you know, like he doesn't go like for a long period at once. He'll just kind of slowly stay on the road.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that. And so that takes up kind of, you know what I mean? It's like a lot, 3 out of 4 weekends a month or that type of thing. Um, and so that just kind of put that on hold. And so I did have a lot more time at home. Um, and just kind of like, you know, just kind of like felt like anxious, like shit, I gotta do something else that's really gonna, you know, I mean, I always have a fire under my ass no matter what. Like I know I need to get better quicker. Like
Yeah.
I know I need to get more successful quicker. I know everything needs to happen better and it needs to happen faster. And like that's not to take away from what's already happened, but like it just needs to keep speeding up and keep moving at, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've been doing this
Just constant
and
progression.
it's constant progression and it
Yep.
needs to keep happening. And so like you don't just take I don't have the luxury of like in any sense taking time off.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I get to do that yet. Or like the wheels are gonna just stay in motion on their own yet. Like I'm not there where you know what I mean, where it's
Yep.
already kind of in motion and people are pushing it for you. Like no, I need to be the one still like leading the way and showing it. Honestly, it's continuing to show people why they should care about me, whether
Yeah.
it's through our personal
Mm.
connection, whether it's through amazing music, whether it's through whatever, you know what I mean. But continuing to show, I mean, like like there's a lot of people to care about out there. There's a lot of music to care about. You have family members, you have
Yeah.
loved ones, you have all these things. And like when you really think about it, like you're really asking like a fan or a listener to let you into their life as like one of maybe like 5 to 10 artists that they
Yeah.
actually care about at that time. You know what
Yep.
I mean? If they're really like playing your album a few times a week or something like that, there's not hella
Absolutely.
people they're doing that for.
Yeah.
So it's like, um, you know, I just don't take that shit lightly when I find people who are like willing to give me that much of their time, you know?
Yeah, man. Fuck, man. That it's so important. I think it's super. I mean, we get a lot of young artists who listen to this show and are always constantly looking for advice. I think what you just gave them, they should run on repeat because I think it's such an important. I always find it bizarre, right? Like when it seems like people don't want, like people are putting out music and they don't necessarily care about the connection that they're making, right? It almost seems like it's confusing to me. I'm like, why are you? Because it's not like it's easy. You know what I mean? Like it's not like
Yeah,
there's so many better ways to get attention than hip hop, indie hip
y-
hop. So
but
many better ways. You know what
you
I
know what
mean?
I've learned though is like that I don't know if necessarily like my route of being like, hey, we're just the same, we're cool, like we, you know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like I don't know if that's the easiest route either to like get
Absolutely
famous
not.
or is it, you know what I mean? And so like I kind of I feel like for different people, it's like everyone has their own route that's both like even true to themselves and also at the same time like marketably what they should be doing like
Yeah,
proper brand, you know, business wise the proper choices to be making. And and just like I think for myself like it's like I don't have any choice with the type of music I make and the things I say in my music. Like I don't have any choice other than to just be myself and like give you a pretty good glimpse into like who I really am. Like
yeah,
it doesn't work for me to make the tell you say the things I say in songs and then to be talking to you a different type of way on
yeah.
my posts like I'm out here fucking like stunning on people or like I don't
Right.
have time in my day to talk to you or whatever. I just told you in my last song that I sat around all day looking at fucking comments or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
feeling
yeah,
bad about myself or some shit. Like I don't get to just, you know what I'm saying? So like I would just look like a clown if I kind of, you know, there's something I've hated. You know, I'm always like, I don't want to look fucking stupid. You know what I mean? So it's like
yeah.
part of the reason I try not to lie so much in my music is because I was like, I don't want to be called out on this shit. Like, I don't want to be, you know what I mean? Like,
I feel
I
you
don't
on
like
that.
looking stupid in front of people. Like, I'm gonna try to be honest and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah,
don't know. It's more for my comfort than to like look good, you know?
yeah. Do you think that like when you approach music this way, right? Because like your creative process is something I'm really interested in because I like the fact that you. I mean, obviously, being an indie artist, you have like your hands in every part of the creation, right? That is your brand. But when you, I see you definitely like putting thought into like the details of things. Um, but do you feel like what is going to be the limit? Do you have it in your mind of like how much more am I willing to give them?
Um, no, not really. Well, I would say yes, I do, and the answer
Yeah,
is a lot. The answer is a lot.
a lot
Like
more.
I still have to. I make money still. Some of my money doing the things I do for myself for other artists.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all these things I've learned how to do for myself. There's much bigger artists than me who don't know how to do them for themselves, and
Facts.
who pay me money to do them for them also.
Yeah,
I would much rather be spending all the time of my day doing it for myself. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I have all that time to give and all that energy to give to my music, but what it is paying the bill. You know, being able to
yeah,
pay the bills is 100 off of it. So like I don't like I'm so confident that if I get myself to kind of like we were talking about, there's these thresholds, and I think
yeah,
there's multiple throughout your life and
yeah.
career, right? But
Hopefully, yeah,
we reach
yeah,
these thresholds that where you know something has changed and things roll a little bit, snowball a little bit more for you on their own and things like that. And I've reached, you know, I feel like I've reached certain ones, but like
yeah,
the financially, I think once if I could, like in my mind, it's like if I can reach that threshold where like I know it's like I'm very confident I can make this a self-sustaining thing
yeah,
from here
yeah,
on fucking out now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because it hasn't been any like tricks or gimmicks that's got me to where I am. Like if I fuck up at one thing, like there's still 8 other things I'm doing pretty good at to keep myself going right now. Like music, you know what I mean? Like I've had to like kind of I've never been amazing at just one thing. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the reason you do see me care about the way the art's going to look, care about the way the track list is, the production is going to be like this, this is going to be like this, because that's actually kind of more what I'm good at than maybe being the best rapper in the world, being the best artistic
Mm,
designer in the world, being the best this. It's kind of allowing you to see like to give you like an experience with me,
got you.
as
Yeah.
opposed to maybe like just blow you away at one fucking thing. Like I just, even in my personal, like people, my friends like me over time. I'm never like the one that's like, not because I'm an asshole or anything, more
Yeah.
because I'm like quiet. Like I'm not the dude who just like makes everyone love him on a great first impression. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm the dude after you've heard like 3 albums from me, you're like, damn, none of these was ever my favorite, but they're all better. Like than no one else that I listen to has dropped 3 projects that are consistently as good, that I like as much as these. Or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people start to notice. Like that's just kind of who I am. Like I'm not gonna blow you away. What I am gonna do is like be able to develop a long-term friendship or a long-term listenership with you, where
Yeah.
you like where we can be cool and grow together. And like it's just kind of learning myself, like that's my strength. Like so why not play to it? Like why be out here trying to fucking, you know what I mean, be the hottest shit on the streets tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, but let's not get it twisted, Jay. You rap your ass off. You can rap your ass off. Let's not get it twisted.
Right.
But so going forward, right? Oh well, actually, first, I didn't want to lose this thought. When COVID hit, you got off tour. Obviously, that's a blow to at least the forward motion you were making in that direction. How quickly did you pivot? Was there a time of like, I mean, was there depression? Was there some anxiety? Like, what happened? Were you able to like immediately go, okay, I got to hit the ground running because I got to keep this moving?
Yeah. I mean, luckily, yeah, I did. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
at first, I really just like got on it. And honestly, it's because like that's what keeps me from having anxiety.
gotcha.
Like, you know what I mean? Like feeling like I am making progress and I am doing something productive, like makes me feel much more calmer. And so it was kind of what I had to do. You know what I mean? In order to like handle being stuck in the house and not
Yeah,
getting the like the what is it, like the approval of everyone cheering for me each night, and
sure,
what, you know what I mean, like
sure.
that type
I
of
mean, it's
shit.
a
Like
real thing. I mean, that getting that serotonin rush. Now, I mean, it's not like you're stealing the serotonin rush. You're
right,
having an
it's
exchange
it's
of
a
energy, and
it's a
you're getting
friendly
it.
exchange. Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
but then it's just gone, you
yeah.
know, and that's got to be, I can see why you said you needed to stay busy. Is I mean, obviously from your music you touch on stuff like this, but dealing with like depressed times and anxiety is just staying busy. Is that your thing? Is that like your how you work through it?
Yeah, that's like the easiest way.
Yeah,
Like honestly, the most like easy way, if I have to tell anyone my first thing, or at least
mm,
for me that works, is literally physical exercise.
got you.
And like that's just like this stupid like simple trick for me. Like if I keep like I just go running. Like if I just run like 30 minutes a day, like there's a good chance that I'm going to be in a better mood. And it's just
Right.
like something I've noticed. You know what I mean? And for me, it just clears my head, calms me down, whatever. Um, and then other than that, it is like really having, I like projects. I like things where I get to feel like I'm moving forward with them. Like I've been planting plants since I've been inside. I've been like cooking, like learning how to
Yeah,
cook
yeah,
recipes.
yeah.
Like I have to do things that I just know this about myself. Like I have to do things that make me feel like I'm like being productive, that I'm creating things, that I'm
Yeah.
engaged in something that feels like some sort of a project, and it's not just like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it's
Mm,
something that I also want to work on, is more like just being able to be present, be like,
sure.
you know what I mean? I'm working on that all the time, but I
Yeah.
know like right now these are the quick fixes to keep me calm, is like just stay busy. Like
How has the like the process of you really starting to like, because it seems like your mind's heavily occupied by creating whatever this next phase of what you're going to be doing is. How much time do you get? And I know we have a lot of time right now, but I'm sure you're trying to fill those hours as much as possible. But how much time do you get for just yourself? Like where you work through these things? Because there's obviously there's, it seems like you have like these career goals, but you also you've spoken already in this conversation that you're working on these personal aspects of yourself that you're not comfortable with yet, that
Yeah.
you'd like to get better. How much time do you get to do that? Do you go to counseling? Do you, you know, what is it? What do you do, yoga besides working out? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely now I'm getting way more time to do those things to kind of like establish like I don't know, just like a rhythm at home. Like
Mm,
I live with my girlfriend. Like I've had now that I'm off the road, like we've had a lot more time to be at home together,
yeah,
to hang out, to just do random things. You know what I mean? For me, a lot of my time, like prior to this, when I'm home is just home um because I'm on the road so much that
right.
it's like 4 nights a week at home, like I'm just we're chilling
Yeah,
together. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Whereas now we're getting a lot more time to like, all right, let's go do this, let's do that. You know what I mean? And like and it's been fun. So that's been cool to, get to do and just like it's something that I've learned, like I've been trying to improve on is just learning to like remember to enjoy the other things in my life that aren't music. Like don't let music
Mm.
take over so much that you're so dependent on like whether you feel good today being based on like how the numbers did last night, what
Ooh,
people said about this, what like it's so I don't know, like fickle, or I don't know if that's the word or whatever, but it's like I'm so much like easily like one day I think my next album is gonna blow people away and make me a millionaire. The next day I wonder if I should even put it out. You know what I mean?
mm,
And so
yeah,
if that's what I'm basing my entire happiness off on, then like
yeah,
my life's gonna be tough to deal with. So like I gotta have some more like I know I have to have like grounding things that are like just real, like the real world, the real things that are just there and constant and like I know this is good. I know this makes me happy. Like these are the things that make me comfortable. These are the things that make me happy. These are the things that make me forget that I'm supposed to be stressed about how my new song is doing. These are the, you know what I mean? Like
right,
when
right.
the things that I do where I forget that like I should be worried about how the numbers on this are looking right now or whatever are like the things that I'm like, oh, I should go do more of those. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so give me some. Do you read? Listen to books? Anything like what do you consume other than the stuff around your career? Like what is it that you consume media wise?
I'm pretty bad. I need to do better at like finding some more like positive consumption methods. But honestly, I try not to. I try. I don't really enjoy reading.
uh,
I'm not. Every now and then I listen to podcasts and stuff, but not too much. Like I really enjoy listening to music. I enjoy time in my own head. Like I'll watch Netflix, at nighttime, like certain episodes. That's probably the most is like movies and TV shows. I would say um, but like, and music, obviously. But I'm more of like, I like to do. I'm very much not like a passive consumer. I'm not good at just sitting and receiving. Like, I need to be like, I like to do things. That's why it's much more fun for me to like cook than it is to watch a TV show. That's
got you,
that's why
got
it's
you.
more fun for me to like plant a garden. That's why it's more fun to me to go on a trip or you know what I mean. Like these are that's so I need I've been trying to get better. Like my girlfriend's always like, "Yo, you need to like sit down and figure out how to just like chill and read a book." You know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah,
like I'll try every now and then, but it just
I
isn't
mean
the easiest thing.
maybe you don't, not now. You know, maybe you're yeah. This mission might not call for that right now, but
Right.
yeah, yeah. I'm always just concerned about like the people we know in the industry that are making sure that everybody's good mentally. It's dope that you do. I have to agree with the working out thing. I think most psychologists would tell you that right off the bat. There's science to that
Yeah.
exercising thing. Okay, so what do you have in the works, man? Is there anything you can share with us? I know you. I mean, you're steady releasing music. If you guys don't know, you can go over to platformcollection.com right now. Type in J.Lately in the search, and a bunch of his music will come up. So, but in fact, I think there's something on the front page right now. But
Sick.
are you going to consistently keep releasing through the rest of the year, or what can we expect? Are there more projects coming?
Yeah, so I do have I mean I've been working on a lot of music. I've written for the first time ever I've written a lot more stuff than is actually going to come out. Like
What does
like
that mean?
like usually I don't really write more than like what ends up on the album.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
If my album is 10 songs, I probably like started 15, only finished the first verse on 2 of them, scrapped them a long time ago,
Got you.
really finished 12 and cut it to 10. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas now, like I have lots of songs that I've been writing that just are probably never going to see the light of day, but are just, I've had the time to like play a lot more in with music, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
with the creation of music. And um so yeah, like I have this Campfire EP, which is what I've been kind of rolling out song by song right now, and then I have a whole album that's done right now that's getting mixed and mastered, that's pretty close to like the final stage of
Will
mixing
we
and
see
mastering.
that
That
this year?
not the full thing, but you'll
Uh,
most likely see music off of it. Like I'll start to roll that, give some singles and maybe some videos and stuff like that this year for sure. Um, I mean, I like something that I've noticed over time is that I've been consistent with like with grinding at, you know, pursuing a music career. I haven't necessarily always been as consistent as I should be at releasing music,
got
and
you.
especially just kind of like the day and age that we are in now, where there are so many tools to expose yourself to through music as opposed to just through the stage.
Yeah.
It's like there are so many more tools at our disposal now, which I kind of wish it wasn't that way. Like I wish it was back in the day where like if you were able to be on the road, like that's how you were getting known, because I fucking
Yeah.
love the
Yeah.
road. But it is like I'd be stupid to not accept that there's all these tools out there right now that are about people being able to discover new music
Yeah.
that they might like, that if I'm not, I'm like, you know what I mean? It's such there's so much at my disposal to be able to spread myself through the internet and streaming and all that now, that it's like, I do need to really like putting out putting out songs and content consistently does play to the benefit of that. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
I have to take that into account with what I'm doing.
So okay, so we got music coming from you. We got videos coming from you. What are your thoughts? I've asked everybody that's come on since we have brought the show back. Did you or do you have kind of a hope or an idea of when you think things will get back to normal?
Shit.
Whatever that's going to look like.
Not really. I mean, honestly, I personally think it's the type of thing that's going to take a long time for things to really get back to like what someone would call normal. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I think in terms of like, you know, in the music industry, I think really like at least like a big step is for like shows to be able to start happening again, even if they are in like modified ways. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And like right now, I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed for maybe like early next year
gotcha.
to start to see some of those like 50 to 100 person shows, 200-person shows be able to happen, and maybe seated or spread out, you know, whatever,
Yeah,
outdoor, whatever you know what I mean? I'm sure it's going to be modified for a little while, but like, I do think it's going to be something that's going to take a little while to go back, but shit, I could be wrong. I don't know. You know, I don't know, man. This whole shit is so crazy that it's like,
yeah.
it kind of like reminds me why I don't know. Sometimes I feel bad because I do tune a lot out.
Hmm.
Sometimes I like keep my own bubble pretty tight,
Yeah,
and like, and then there's other times where I'm just like, you know, sometimes it just kind of like reaffirms like, bro, we don't know what the fuck we're doing out here. Like,
yeah. Seems like
you know
that.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, and sure, I'm not. That's not to say that that there's not experts out here are saying what's correct. But I'm saying
right.
as a society, as a people, like
Yeah,
we are like
very confused.
kind of just confused
Yeah,
group of individuals, right? Like,
it
and it just
is.
kind of reaffirms that, like, I don't know, maybe I should go back in my hole a little bit, or like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I'll
or
tell you this, man. I think that it's important that artists like yourself who make the kind of things you make. I was just talking. Actually, do you know Chesky Ramos? Have you ever met
no,
Chesky? Okay, so
no.
there's an artist named Chesky, one of my favorite artists. He's a touring artist as well, owner of Fake Four Records. Um, I was telling him that, you know, being a fan, one of the things, just think about this. This is a real easy way to decide whether or not you want to make music. It's whether or not you care about this thing. There's probably a kid at home right now who your shit is his shit. And shit sucks right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a whole lot of places to go. There's not a lot of people who have been able to develop the tools that maybe we all have in the entertainment business, where you can kind of divert. Like you said, you know how to keep yourself busy, but you've been sharpening that sword for a long time. There's people at home who have not, and getting your new release is something that could literally get them through the next month and a half. It's so important that people like yourself keep speaking and keep talking to the audience. I'm super stoked that you're even pushing more to give them more, because I think that's, like you said, it takes a lot for somebody to follow something and to make that a part of their lives. And when it isn't there, it's got. I mean, it sucks. You know what I mean? I know it
Yeah.
sucks, because I've felt that about like some of the artists that I follow, like really really heavy, and when they just go away, especially right now, when you have so
Right.
much to think about and so much, when you want that little bit of release, and a way to check out of this, it sucks when that artist isn't giving you that. That's why I think it's super dope that you are doing that. And if I can encourage you to do anything, it's just keep fucking doing that, because we need that shit right now, you know?
For sure. No, I appreciate it, man. Like, it's always good to remember that, you know, even if it is just 1, 5, 10, 100, whatever, like there's
Mhm.
people out there that you are like, you know, I struggle with the fact of like feeling like I know I'm doing this for me.
I know what you're saying.
I'm
I know
not
what you're
just doing
saying.
this because people are out here begging me to make rap music.
Mhm.
Like, I'm doing this because I fucking love it. And so it is the best feeling in the world when people tell me that I've made their life better
Yep.
through something that, you know what I mean? Like, that's what, and it's sometimes it is hard, like continuing to feel like you're giving things, like pushing things on people that it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's there's nothing better than that feeling of someone being like, yo, you really helped me through my day. And it's like, I just want to be able to do that more. You know what I mean? Like, the
Yep.
more people say that, it makes me feel like I'm not out here being an asshole. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, I think, like I said, I follow what you do. I see how the audience reacts to you. There are people who have added you to their day. That's a super dope thing. It's a super privilege to have that happen. Like I like to tell a lot of our friends, or a lot of our mutual friends and stuff, the people that we all kind of know in our communities. I mean, we are there. You're part of this one, less than 1% actually, of the world that is able to actually take this to the masses and take this to people and have an audience that actually want to hear things. It's so fucking rare. And when you care about it as much as you do, whether you're doing it for you or for whatever it is you're doing it for, I think just the fact that you care about it as much as you do is what's important. You know what I mean? Especially right now,
right.
when it seems like motherfuckers don't give a shit about a lot of stuff right now. And to hear that you care that much about, the things you do, then you just can't help but to notice that that's obviously going to affect other people too, because it's inspiring. You know what I mean? It's
For
one of the
sure.
reasons I wanted to have you on the show. I definitely appreciate everything you do, bro. I'm hoping this is not the last time you're on. I want you to come back again for sure.
No doubt, man.
Yeah, anytime you ever have anything you want to promote or get out there, maybe come back when the record drops. That'd be super dope. Um,
Definitely. Let's do that.
guys, follow everything J.Lately does. He's one of the good ones. Dude, have a great year, man. Stay safe. We are literally a call away. If you need to get anything out to the audience, please do so. Guys,
For
once
sure.
again, platformcollection.com. Go there, type in J.Lately at the top, check out all his latest releases, and follow him Instagram, j.lately, right?
Just at J-Lately.
Okay, there it
No
is.
dot in there. Yep.
No dot. At J.Lately.
Yep.
Dude, thank you so much, man, for doing
Yep.
this.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you taking the time to have me here and having the conversation and everything.
Yeah, no worries, bro. Anytime. I'll let you go.
It's usually like at an extremely loud show, like 25 minutes after someone's got
Right,
off stage, that we
right.
run into each other or something. But
Yeah, it's all. It's yeah. I'm glad we finally. I mean, this is literally, for people who don't know, this is literally like the longest conversation. We've always seen each other passing. You guys know I worked for Thought Fest, so I seen him there. I actually, when you were saying, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the homie Nate Witzel. I think
yes,
he booked you down here in San Diego with, who was it?
With
You were opening up for
with Locksmith. That's who
Locksmith.
that one was. Yeah,
That
yeah,
shit was amazing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That was the first time I got to see you perform. That's where it was.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Yeah, shout out to
Hey,
Nate.
shout out Nate. Yeah.
Yeah, also fellow teacher.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, dude. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you again. I'll let you
No
get
doubt.
back to it.
No
Stay
doubt.
safe, and we'll talk again soon.
You as well, man. Appreciate you so much.
Yes, sir. Yo, that's the homie J.Lately. Man, what can I say about him, dude? He's one of the good ones. It's rare that you see artists like him that put so much time. And it's weird because it seems like he struggles a little bit with. He's a very humble dude. That's what it is. He's just a very humble dude. But he's dope. We all know he's fucking dope. Go check him out. Go to platformcollection.com right now. Guys, we got some dope announcements, in fact, associated with Platform Collection. Got some new shows coming. I was counting it the other day. I think we have 7 or 8 shows running at Platform Collection. Everything from gaming to interviews to reaction videos, all based around the world of Platform Collection and the artists within it. So I think we're starting something pretty cool, man. I like it. Go check it out. I think you'd like it too. I like the fact that we're able to show you other sides of the artists that we love and that we care about, and we think that you should get to know. But man, yeah, J.Lately, dude. That one was long overdue. I've been wanting to talk to that gentleman for a minute. Finally, just reached out to him, made it happen. We got a bunch of people coming up. I got the homie Namek coming up. Producer Hip Hop Eddie is chasing down a bunch of interviews. Guys, send us messages if you want to see somebody in particular on the show. I think also that it should be said, if you want to be on the show, and I don't know you personally, let's just meet. Hit me with a DM. Let me know that you're putting music out. Let me follow you a little bit for a while. Obviously, I like to bring people on. If you've been following the show for the last 7 years, a lot of the people we bring on are people we have at least somewhat of a personal relationship with or have worked with in the past. I like to be able to vouch for everybody that I have on. So please, if you guys are doing or do want to get on the show, hit me up at KillCRay on Instagram, or slide us a message over at Platform Collection. Send me a link. Say, hey, here's what I'm working on, and I'm interested in being on the show. I'm not saying that's going to get you on the show, but it might. But let me know you're out there, right? I followed J.Lately for 4 years before I reached out to have him on the show. So, yeah, reach out. I hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are staying safe. I know times are weird, times are crazy, but love each other. Love each other. Be there for each other. We're all we got. Hip hop, I love you. I'm here for y'all. So, crappyawesome.com, platformcollection.com. Shout out to the staff over at Platform Collection who have been killing it. Absolutely killing it. Go check out their shows. Gene Flow Show, Gabby, Melly, Yazzie. Holy crap, Mike Mackey. Parker Edison got some great stuff coming up. OG Hip Hop Eddie's got some great shit coming up. New people coming to the team I can't even tell you yet. Brand new shows coming to the team. Also, I talked to 2Mex today. We'll see. That's all I'll say about that. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. And have a great night, week. I don't know. Stay safe, guys.